I'm happy to announce the new AMD chip, Ryzen 9 5-2021.628 RXT 3D HDX. I mean, this has basically been the struggle with regards to the AMD chips, right? The name. Every time the name changes, and even when we are used to a new name, they start adding even more numbers and more letters. And no, this is not an AMD chip, this was a Samsung memory thing that I replaced from an old laptop. Anyways, let's talk about AMD's announcement at the Consumer Electronics Show, or CES. Now, throughout the day, AMD stock actually held up quite nicely. It was up 3.3%. Intel actually went down 3%. After hours, the stock is basically flat, even after the Nvidia announcements. But of course, the last 3 months, AMD extreme underperformance, down 24.2%. Year on year, the stock is down, 8% or so, 6.5%. And it now has a market cap of $210.2 billion. Still expected to grow quite quickly in the next couple of fiscal years. Of course, we know that the market is expecting a big number when it comes to AI revenue on the next earnings call. The whisper numbers are around $9.5 billion. We know that the AI revenue for 2024 is expected to exceed $5 billion, so the market will probably be happy if they could double that figure in 2025. At the time of making this video, the average analyst price target sits 40% higher than the price we're at today. And I already know some people would say, oh, is it too late to buy AMD because it was at $120 a couple of days ago and now it's at $130. Let's be honest here, those $10 won't really make that much of a difference if they do come out with strong AI revenue numbers, and actually the client side of the business might also help them throughout the year. So let's talk about all of that in this video. If you enjoy this type of videos, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if not, really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. Let's start with what was announced during that presentation, because believe it or not, RDNA 4 was, well, not really talked about during the presentation. All the information came, well, through press releases. There is an explanation for that. I'll get to that later in the video. So first up, we start here with Ryzen 9950X3D and the Ryzen 9900 X3D desktop processors. They will be available in Q1 2025. Both will utilize the second gen AMD 3D V-Cache technology, promising excellent performance for gaming and content creation. They also told us, and this again is based on AMD's own benchmark data, this is going to be the world's best gaming processor. They compare it to Intel Core i90. Of course, once these products get to, well, reviewers will get the true benchmark data. Moving on to the 9000HX series, which are desktop and workstation replacements. We've got 3 of those right here. And then they unveiled the Fire Range HX3D. Of course, I mean, if you thought this would be enough, 9850HX, no, we now need 9955HX3D because, well, the more numbers and letters, the better. Moving on to the handheld gaming segment, they announced the Z2 series processors for, well, here they give a couple of examples: Lenovo Legion Go, Asus Republic of Gamer, and Valve Steam Deck. I don't think this Steam Deck 2 will get this chip. So they said the following: significant and growing total addressable market, more OEM adding designs in market, and, well, battery life, software, and performance leadership. To be honest, I mean, it's still a very niche market in my opinion. Maybe for those of you watching, you've tested out, maybe you own one of these devices. Let me know what the experience is and let me know why you're, well, basically wanting to buy this over a PC, laptop, gaming laptop, or just an Xbox or PlayStation. Here as well, you've got 3 different types: Z2 Extreme, Z2, and Z2 Go. The main differences are with the 8 cores, 16 threads. The Z2 Go has 4 cores with 8 threads. Then the big difference between the Z2 and the Z2 Extreme is not the 5.1 or 5.0 gigahertz max boost. No, it's the difference between the graphics cores. It goes from 16 to 12. Moving on to AI PCs and AI laptops, we've got AMD Ryzen AI 300 series, and we also got the AMD Ryzen AI Max series. Now, when you think you're getting Max, no, there is even one step above max, if that makes any sense. There is max plus 395. So you've got max 385, max 390, and then max plus 395. Maximum is the maximum. I don't get the maximum plus, but okay, a branding stuff. Then on the left, you've got the AMD Ryzen AI 7 350 and the AI 5 340. This is on RDNA 3.5 graphics. Did you compare the Max Plus 395, which has a codename Strix Halo, to the MacBook M4 Pro? And to be honest, their own benchmark data here does show some promising results. They also claim that they can run a 70 billion parameter model, and it's up to 2.2 times faster AI performance tokens per second. They compare it to the NVIDIA RTX 4090 24 gigs one. Moving on to the part that was not showed during the presentation, and that's of course the new GPUs available in Q1. So we've got the RX 9070 XT and the RX 9070. The reason why they did not talk about it during the presentation is because of this. This is a conversation between the folks at Tom's Hardware and AMD. Just to set the record straight, to begin with, the lack of RDNA 4 in the press conference has nothing to do with product development or any of that. The chips are in the lab and they are performing well. It's hitting all the targets in terms of performance and power. You'll see many of our board partners showing off their designs, so they'll all be out there talking about products that they have coming from the RDNA 4 family products during CES. They explained that the keynote was only 45 minutes long, and with a slew of other products to announce, the company simply couldn't dedicate enough time in the presentation to the new GPUs to correctly frame the product. Ultimately, they would have only had about 5 minutes to introduce the new GPUs. Well, to be honest, it's really up to them. They could have basically switched a couple of things here and made the segment about GPUs longer than the other segments, because I think this is more important than what they announced, but okay. They continue by saying here, graphics products and graphics launches are complicated, and there's a lot that has to be explained to really do it justice. We wanted to make sure as we launch RDNA 4 that we do it justice, and we cover the hardware improvements, the technology, the software, the FSR 4, and the driver enhancements. All of that needs to be covered to really satisfy what gaming enthusiasts care about most. We made a lot of decisions in RDNA 4 that are different from prior generations. We know that most gamers buy graphics cards that are well south of $1,000, and we built the RDNA 4 architecture really from the ground up to make sure that we're delivering features and the performance and capabilities that gamers in the largest volume segment of the market care about most. Some very positive comments here. Now, unfortunately, we do not get any pricing data. We only get these couple of screenshots here. So AMD RDNA 4 architecture will be optimized, supercharged, improved, and better. It's going to use the 4 nanometer process from TSMC. Now, this part right here, the Radeon branding for RDNA 4 explains a lot and also does not explain a lot, if that makes any sense. So on the left here, you've got NVIDIA, the RTX 4080, 4070 Ti. Then we've got the RTX 5000 series, which of course NVIDIA announced after AMD. And then on the right, you've got the Radeon RX 7000 series, right? The 7900, XT, XTX, GRE, etc. And then the newer ones, the 9070 series and the 9060 series. Now, if we look at the exact lines here, we can see that this right here, the RX 9070, is going to compete directly with the RXT 4070 Ti. Now, what is the price? We don't know. What we do know is that NVIDIA announced this later in the evening, that the RTX 5070 is going to start at $549 and will offer equal performance to the 4090, of course, based on their own benchmark data. Remains to be seen what really happens. So some are already saying that, well, they did not want to talk about price because they knew this was coming, and so they are waiting and seeing what the reception is going to be, and then they'll come out with maybe a better price, of course, depending on the performance compared to NVIDIA's own products. that remains to be seen. Anyways, last thing here I want to touch on might not be a big deal for a lot of people, but I think this is a start of something quite good for Dell and AMD. So AMD Ryzen AI Pro processors will power new Dell Pro devices. These new PCs will be the first Dell commercial devices shipping with AMD Ryzen AI Pro processors. Usually Dell used Intel and not AMD. I believe AMD did try to do this a while ago, but then, well, they just didn't do it at all. So this time they're jumping back in, and I think entering the commercial PCs is going to be a good move for AMD. And so right now, what do we have? Well, we can see that on the weekly, the stock did rebound quite nicely from that uptrend line. We're also now above the 20-day moving average, which sits at $127. The 50-day one sits at 134.8 and the 200-day one at $145.62. It's going to be quite interesting to see what happens until the earnings report, because if we do get some positive guidance for 2025, we could see a huge green candle that will take this stock above the downtrend line. So all in all, that's about it. I think it was a calculated decision not to talk about RDNA 4 during the presentation. Could they have talked about it? I think so. I think they could have removed a couple of things. The Z2 announcement, I mean, was that so important? I don't think so, but okay, we'll see what happens. I think 2025 is an important year for AMD. So yeah, all in all, okay presentation. Stock was up 3.3%. Fine, nothing that exciting. So that's about it. That's all you needed to know. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, do all of that. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.